Hello guys, it's Felicity here and welcome back to my channel. And if you can tell, I'm actually wearing my pointe shoes today because I'm going to do some pointe. I'm going to be doing a pointe series that I told you guys in like brief detail about last video that I had my last dance video. Basically in this series I'm going to be giving you some tips on how to improve your balance on pointe. Now for this video, I'm going to be giving you guys some tips on how to get over your box on pointe and just being able to get up onto your pointe shoes in in the proper way. I don't have my bar with me today, so instead I'm going to be using a chair for a sturdy chair. So yeah, if you have a bar at home, that would be nice to use for this, or just for doing pointe in general. But like if you don't, you can find something that's the equivalent of that, such as like a chair like I'm using, maybe like just a counter, anything that's stable. So yeah, let's get started. Whether you are doing a double pirouette on pointe or just doing releves from first position, it is important to keep your legs straight while you do this, because if you are doing this with your legs straight, that's going to make it harder for you to balance, and it's also quite dangerous to do. Now this is a bit of an exaggeration, but basically what you don't want to do is you don't want to do like this. This is a bit of an exaggeration, but you don't want to be like this on pointe, because this is definitely going to make it hard for you to do things like a pirouette, because doing a pirouette while your legs are like if you're going to try, I'm not going to do a pirouette because I don't have great flooring here, but if you're going to do a pirouette like this is not going to be good. So you want to make sure that your legs are straight at all times. Except if you're doing a jump on pointe. There are like jumps on pointe where it's basically like this. I'm not as great at doing jumps on pointe. But like if you're doing jumps like that, then you're supposed to have your legs bent, because they want you to do that. But if you're just like doing something where your legs are supposed to be straight, keep your legs straight, don't bend them. It's going to make it hard for you, and it's incorrect. So yeah, that's the first tip. Another tip is to try and get up on your arch all the way. You want your arch to be all the way up here, so you're like all the way over your box. You don't want it to be just like a half arch, because then it's going to be difficult for you to balance. Like you don't want to just be like, I don't know how to do an example of this. You don't want to be like that, because you don't want like your feet to be like this, because that isn't really it, because you're not all the way on your arch and you can't balance this way. You really want to be all the way up there so that you can balance. Although here's a little thing. You do want to make sure you want to make sure you're up on your arch, all the way in your box, but not going over it. You don't want, your arch should probably be like this. You don't want them to go over like that, because that is not good. If you are going to turn like that, you are probably going to fall and like twist your ankle or something, and that would not be good. So you want to make sure that your arch is over your box, but not going too far over, and you don't want it to be too light because they can't balance. So basically, don't go like this, because then you can't balance like that. And you don't go like this. I know I'm bending my legs here, but don't go like this, because then you're going to fall. So you want to have a nice medium of just being all the way over. And yeah, that is tip number 2. This next pointe, see what I did there, pointe. Okay. So this next point I'm going to stress a lot, because this is something I did when I was new to pointe, and I don't want you guys to repeat it. Do not need to make sure that if you are peeking onto point or just rising up there, that's what you're doing. Like, let's take arabesque for example. Arabesque is something where, like, you can sometimes, like, you could be rising up there or you could be peeking up there. Like, I don't really have much room here, but I'm not going to do like a full-on arabesque, but I'm just going to lift my leg up like this and show you guys. So this is like what a piqué arabesque would be like. That was pretty bad. Let me redo that. And this would be like what and then like a rising up to arabesque would be like that. See the difference? With this one, I'm peeking up like that. With this, I'm actually rising up from point. If you are doing the rising technique, you need to make sure that's what you're doing. When you're new to point, it might seem easier to just do this instead of having to go with rising up, but you need to make sure that you know how to do the rising up, because you're going to have to do that later, and then your teachers are going to catch you trying to cheat eventually. And also, if you're trying to PK, don't like do it on like a wobbly foot that's like not fully up on point, or especially if it's like, if you're PKing onto like an arabesque that's like, okay, let me show you something. Like if you are like PKing up to an arabesque and the leg you're peeking on is like bent, this is kind of an exaggeration, but like if this is bent, that's not good. That is not good. So you want to make sure that you know when to rise up and when to just PK. For this next point, okay, I may stop making point jokes. I am not 100% sure about this because I ran into a lot of dead ends trying to research this part of the video, and before finally coming to a pretty much accurate answer, so I'm about 70% just correct. When you start off point, you are most likely going to learn to roll through your feet. Now the reason why you will learn to roll through your feet as you go up to point like this is because this is going to engage all of your muscles as you go up into point. But you actually get two options once you get more advanced. Rolling, which I just told you about, and springing. Springing should not be confused with jumping. Jumping on point is not good, because if you are going to like jump up to like, I'm holding on because I don't want to like hurt myself doing this. You don't want to like jump up to your, I'm losing my train of thought. Say like this, because that is not good. Springing is basically you're basically going to scoop sort of under you and just spring up. So see how I'm doing that with my PK? I'm basically springing up to point like that. So once you get into more advanced stuff, you can either do springing or you can do rolling. Now I actually find springing easier because with springing, it gives you, like, you're not as stuck to the ground as you get up. And you also, if you need to like do something quickly, then you kind of need to do that because it takes longer for you to get up like this than it would. See, this is going to take longer than doing that. So if you need to do something quickly, then I would do springing. But yeah, it's basically your choice for that. But when you start out, you should learn both the springing and rolling techniques. Although typically I feel like you would use springing one leg bounces, and then just rolling up for 2 leg things. Anyways, guys, that's all for today's video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to consider liking and subscribing to see more content like this on my channel. I will continue this series, and I think this is going to be like 3 parts long. So, yeah, this is part 1 of 3. Anyways, guys, hope you have a great day, night, or afternoon. Bye, guys!